Hello everybody, I'm Sascha. Welcome at Hicof. Let's have a quick tour of our company. My name is Sascha Toedtli. I'm the co-founder of company Hicof here in Switzerland. We are a producer of industrial marking machines, case pack equipment, aggregation machines and business software. And we are in the market since 2015. Well, Switzerland, as my home country, was the ideal place to found this company because we have close to Zurich a fantastic technical university, ETH Zurich. We have majority of our team coming from this university, which helped us to really develop a product which is ahead of its time. And that's why we still believe in this place to stay here. Initially, my father was having a company called Vesto, which is still our mother house in the year 2000 and is still focused on solving technical engineering tasks for the product security industry, which one of the main technologies in use is track and trace. We manufacture case pack equipment and industrial marking machines as well as aggregation equipment, which we all combine together with a cloud-based management application we call Amajoiner. And this was always in our mind to make innovative products, not products which are just a replication of what already exists. Meaning that we really develop existing concepts further to create advantages to our customers. Through the availability of good engineers, we are able to bring these products to life, really make an impact. We started with the software. We had an idea of making a software which manages all these production processes from a central database, because most of the existing solutions had various databases across multiple layers in the enterprise, which was very difficult to manage. And we started with making a new solution, which was one core central database designed to be hosted in a cloud-based. At the beginning, just the software was very difficult to promote because typically customers want to buy a machine. Machines are tangible, you can relate to it, you have a look and feel, and that's why we also transferred the concepts of making a good software to make good machines, which are highly integrated, which really put the advantage of the software to another level also when you can use it in the machine, which is oftentimes not the case, as these are different companies where you can't really bring the advantages to life. And this sounds very, let's say, difficult to understand at first, but whenever you have had, let's say, a modern smartphone in your hands, you understand that you don't want to manage your phone book on one device, and on the other device you need to manage the second phone book again from scratch. And we wanted to transfer this idea to machinery and to just the industrial environment, where you oftentimes have solutions where each solution is independent from each other. We just saw how difficult it is to manage this, and that's the core idea we wanted to improve on. And we had so many other knowledges or abilities, which is why we really started to grow this idea to making machinery, various types of tools which go together with our software, and now we are here. We had plenty of skills which were necessary, but many skills have not been available, let's say, initially by us. We were very happy to have a good ecosystem of suppliers, which helped us to learn about current technology, about available technologies in the market, and putting this technology into our product was very important to really form a product which was ahead of its time. Our first customer was a company which we worked together in consulting, They were looking for a long time to find a fitting solution for their track and trace needs. And they had difficulties as existing solutions were very heavy, very cumbersome, and lacked especially also in being combined by several suppliers. And we have at the time not been ready with our product, but we told them that we have something in place which is on the development. They have been happy with this proposal, and they gave us the time to develop our solution, and they put it in place. They have been the first customer, and they're very happy till this day, and they continue to buy more and more machines from us and are using machinery as well as the software till today. Our biggest challenge was for us the fact that we didn't want to go the way of financing the company's growth through third parties. So we financed the company and its growth purely ourselves, which was always a challenge to keep everything in the right, let's say, speed. Well, we are very dependent also, of course, on the business, on the development of the business. And it was just a challenge to put this in the right placing or in the right, let's say, order. And sometimes we needed to take more time to reach a goal we set. And sometimes we have reached it faster than we expected. So it's basically almost impossible to plan something like this.
When we started, the big privilege we had was to start on more or less nothing. We didn't have any legacy code we needed to bring up to speed. We really started building a new system from scratch. And the huge advantage from that is that you don't have to adapt to anything that came before. You can really look into what is the best way of resolving some issues right now. And back at that time, a lot of the complications we got, especially when working with customers, was that serialization aggregation was fairly new to a lot of them, especially to the smaller companies. And bringing them up to speed in terms of what they actually needed to do to comply to the regulatory requirements, that was actually a big challenge.
We started locally with one customer, and out of Switzerland, which has for us a very good customer base as well. As a lot of pharma industry is in Switzerland, we have also a lot of contract manufacturing happening in Switzerland, which is one of our target audience for our machinery. We were able to quickly expand outside of Switzerland through agencies and through partners, which helped us to grow the business abroad. Through that, we were able to get into countries like Taiwan, Thailand, Ukraine, Russia, as well as the Americas, which helped us to further, let's say, evolve our product as well, as we were able to show in Switzerland new customers that our products are really working. And by bringing them here, the others, to see what we did, this helped us to really just grow organically and to develop this market.
The relationships we have with our customers, especially the long-standing relationships, are really extraordinary. Some of them we have started with 7 or 8 years ago and really introduced them to serialization in the first place. And they started out, some of them with our very first machines, with our very first software, with all that entails. And some of them have obviously moved on for various reasons, which is always a bit weird. These are not necessarily your friends, but you've worked with them for a long time and you've worked with them intensely. So it's always a bit sad to see someone like that go. But even then, it's then interesting to have new people come in and build a new relationship, understand how that person ticks, and trying to help them being onboarded onto the already existing system and getting to know the system in depth. But I would say that maybe half of all the people that we originally started with our customers are still with their respective customers. And so I'm very happy to see that and very happy to keep those relationships going, as that is really the core of a good relationship between supplier and customer of such a system. You need to have a good connection. You need the different people need to know each other on a personal level to understand and appreciate each other's works and each other's problems. So that's really a great feeling to be part of that.
Our biggest challenges at the time being is the fact that we need to have qualified engineers to really grow the market. There is no engineer which has, let's say, base knowledge or in this education learns about our equipment, our machinery, our processes, meaning that we need to educate our engineers when they come to us to really understand the product, to bring a benefit to our customer. Our competition is, of course, very important for us also to grow. We learned a lot from competition, but we also improved a lot through competition. And we see especially ourselves as also driver of competition. We always try to really push our competition to get to the next level, to innovate, to make new products, to make innovative products, which are not just innovative on the technical side, but also on an economical perspective. As a Swiss company, we are not the most, let's say, economic. Well, our labor cost is high and our manufacturing cost is high, but on the same time, we need to innovate in the product, in the process, which allows us in the end to still be better sometimes than our competition. The competition in our industry, the track and trace industry, has evolved quite a bit. In the years 2010 to 2020, there have been up to 100 competitors, I would say, from various type. So pure software companies, pure machine builders, and component suppliers. So a very, let's say, scattered landscape. And this was mainly due to the fact that our industry is very regulatory driven. So during the time, the European Union's pharma industry was in the process of developing or implementing track and trace technology into their product because it was a regulatory requirement which was set in place in 2019. Since then, the industry has cleaned itself, let's put it this way. Many competitors disappeared or have been joined together and have also developed their product further. And we see in the meanwhile the landscape probably like 5 to 10 major competitors, of which they oftentimes have very specialized product offerings. At the same time, we believe we have still a very unique offering which allows to stand out, especially for the smaller and mid-sized customers. Breaking into new industries is always a challenging task. We have to build up a relationship, we have to build up trust before we can come to really making business. Winning a new customer can start from a few months up to 10 years. Sometimes it can take a very long time to really go through many, let's say, steps. And this can also include mini steps like making small proofs of concepts or pilots. If we go into new industries or into new applications, for us it's always a challenge to really understand what is needed and how can we adjust our offering maybe in a way that it really makes us a step ahead of everybody else. And this is an engineering challenge mainly, not just sales. We are not in these specialized industries, we are not selling standardized solutions. We sell really out of a toolkit the best combination. And that's the key for us to really stay ahead and to make fast progress. Allows us also to be competitive in pricing and cost overall. We see that once a customer has decided to go with our solution, we are pretty much one of core systems which our customers rely on. Track and trace solutions require to put on every product a tracking number, which typically is afterwards for a long time stored in databases. After a decision is taken, typically it stays in place for a very long time. Catching up with regulation is a big challenge, not just for us, but especially for our customers. So if you're manufacturing medical products or pharmaceuticals, you're highly dependent on regulation, and it can be that regulations are put in place which are almost impossible to fulfill with your existing equipment. And sometimes it's very difficult to retrofit existing equipment, and sometimes it's easier to buy new equipment, as hard as it is. And that's a big challenge the industry has to work with, has to deal with. And sometimes the solution is to be more efficient. Sometimes the solution is to find innovative ways to comply. There is no one-size-fits-all reply or answer to this process, but I think innovation in itself is here as well one of the best strategies to make progress. New technologies are for us a big driver of progress, and also staying ahead of the edge in competition. As a very engineering-driven team, and we really try to take advantage of any new technology that's around. Speaking of that, we introduced AI technology into our product already more than 2 years before ChatGPT was announced. We work on vision technology mainly, as well as industrial components, so lenses, camera systems, innovative drive systems which work without mechanics. Things like this help us to stay ahead of the competition, to also lower our cost oftentimes, because through really rethinking how things are done, we oftentimes can also exclude components which have been necessary in the past. Balancing between R&D and manufacturing, or let's say infrastructure, is always a challenge. So we have been very dependent on R&D, and this allows us to also reassign resources into manufacturing as needed. And we are able to be very flexible, as we are very lean in our structures. And this allows us also to make big steps in very short time. And we believe that being strong on R&D is allowing us to be also very flexible once we have the need in growing into manufacturing. We have a very, let's say, non-conforming approach of integrating our software tools, which are basically in the core cloud-based solutions, which have databases as well as web technology for human-machine interfacing. This is being combined with programmable logic controllers, PLCs, where, let's say, the logic of the machine is handled. Bringing these two worlds together is a big challenge. Choosing third-party components is always very performance-driven from our side. We are looking into a problem, looking for a supplier which can maybe bring us a step ahead by combining several functions into one new device. That's why we really believe also in high-end solutions. Other factors like cost, as well as service, availability, and so on. We are, first of all, interested in the correct performance in a product which is able to bring our solution to life. The Amajoiner aggregation machine was created out of the need to have a manual station where you can aggregate or read multiple boxes out of cardboard shipping cartons. And they are often filled in multiple layers. So the traditional approach would be to have a camera which can adjust the distance to the boxes with every layer of packaging. which is for human safety reasons a slow process. You cannot make a camera which is moving very fast because it would impose a risk to the operator. And our solution there was that we use a liquid lens-based camera, which is able to adjust its focus instead of adjusting the distance to the subject or to the substrate. The Amajoiner adjusts the focus on the boxes with the liquid lens by a split of a second, instead of having a mechanical adjustment, which A would be very slow and B would be expensive. You need to have a lot of components and parts. You would need to build a whole machine, kind of, which at the same time also comes with the downside that you have cables which need to be bent every time you adjust the distance of the camera. By going with the liquid lens solution, we were able to eliminate all the mechanical components almost, or the majority of mechanical components, while at the same time even improving the performance of the process by being able to shorten the focus time from seconds to split seconds.
In terms of the challenges, one of the biggest ones, aside from illumination, was actually calibration. And we had to build like a special test stand for the calibration of the distance, etc. And so there was a learning curve, definitely a learning curve with that. But in the end, the image quality is great, and the user experience, specifically with not having to move the top part, essentially the camera, provides immense benefits. Mainly speed. So essentially, the way you have to imagine that is you pile up the first layer. Using your lens really speeds up the overall process for the end user. They don't need to individually wait on the results and wait on the camera camera mechanism moving upwards or downwards. They can really just move as fast as they possibly can themselves.
Hector is, for us, it's like a toolbox of different camera systems, control systems, interfacing systems, which allow us to combine together systems which are solving various challenges at customers, being it tracking challenges, aggregation challenges, or inspection challenges. And Hector is being used for all these vision applications through one system or one framework. The challenge of Hector is to develop a system which is taking the advantage of having a cloud-based infrastructure, while being very flexible in what type of inspection applications you want to be able to perform. So having a very broad toolkit required from us to have very flexible standards, how we can assemble together the cameras, the lenses, the control units. The Optotune lenses are used in Hector especially for anti-counterfeiting applications. We have applications where we integrate camera systems in between manufacturing lines on conveying systems. Customers don't want to have operators needing to adjust for every product coming on the packaging line. With the Optotune lenses, we were able to use, in combination with laser distance scanning, autofocus function to adjust for every product the focus and always have a perfectly sharp image from every product coming at the conveying system.
The problem of counterfeit medicines is enormous. The exact numbers can be looked up at WHO and other organizations. It is a massive issue on a global scale. Counterfeiters are using any opening to produce counterfeits of pharmaceutical products, especially in emerging markets where pharmaceutical products are often sold in blisters or part of a blister, where it's common that patients bring their own medicine to the hospital or the place of care in general. there is a lot of entry points for counterfeits. Same goes for internet platforms that sell pharmaceutical products. And it's not only that there is a lot of pharmaceutical products that are being counterfeited, it is also how does the customer make sure that the products are authentic. So the serialization itself, having the serialization marking on the product itself is only one aspect. The other aspect is how do you check that? Is there an infrastructure with which the end user can actually make sure, hey, this product is not only carrying something that looks correct, but it's actually authentic? And that again then goes into the application that we're having or that we're using Hector for a lot of the time. This goes into authentication of products, making sure that these codes are not only correct in terms of the content, but they're also correct in terms of this is the exact code that was produced at this and that site, and that can be verified, in our case using a smartphone application. That is providing a tool for the end user to make sure the product he's holding in hand is authentic and safe to take. The Optotune lens allows us to capture high quality images of subjects that move past the camera in a very high speed at various distances. So specifically, we measure the distance and we tell the lens how far away the subject is, and it will give us an in-focus image.
When we try to solve the challenge of making an automatic focus on a conveying system, we looked into several options with multiple cameras or having also smart cameras which have been equipped with autofocus. But either we were not convinced of just the amount of hardware we had to put on to solve this challenge, or it was just a system which was not, let's say, it came with many functions which we didn't use. And Optotune gave us the possibility to really isolate it, adjust to this challenge, have a very high performance, especially also in the optical field, which is a requirement for this application. And overall, it just ticked most of the boxes that needed to be ticked. Other factors that have influenced our decision has definitely been the integration ability of distance sensors, the standardization of, let's say, the lens being able to work with a wide range of cameras, which allowed us to use existing camera systems which we have already had integrated into our framework of Hector. In the end, also pricing was for us attractive, and through web research we have found the solutions from Optotune, and they convinced us from a very early day. That's why we ended up going with your solution. Optotune helped us with integrating the lenses into our application. Always very, very directly, always on a high level. We had always access to engineers which spoke our language, who could understand our challenges. This was very helpful for us to keep up with the speed we are running, and this was a very pleasurable experience for us. In serialization and packaging, we see a big trend of using the data which was or is already acquired by many systems nowadays to further improve those processes. Maybe in combination with AI or neural networks which are able to analyze this data to offer the users ways to further improve their product. AI in industrial system as we provide is used beside of vision technology, where, for example, pattern recognition is used, or where across up to billions of images, for example, optimization tasks should be performed to further find ideal settings in machinery For example, proposing the operators small adjustments on the machine to further improve the outcome or to further improve the reliability of machinery. Above of that, we see many applications on the, let's say, corporate data side, where you can actually improve processes by just reducing human tasks which have been necessary in the past to bring processes to, let's say, a healthy end.
The future in serialization and aggregation, I believe to be in making the complex landscape that it is simpler. Basically, there is a lot of offers on the market that can provide a serialization system and a machine that can do marking and grading and packaging of an aggregation of serialized packs. Really, I think the challenge lies in making this as simple and as seamless as possible, disregarding of where the product is going, etc. The regulations, especially, for example, in Western Europe, they haven't changed that much in the past 6-7 years. So there's not much innovation in terms of completely new things to tackle. A unique selling proposition from us as a developer. If all suppliers can do everything, it becomes how well can you do it, how stably can you do it, how easy is it to set up a system, how easy is it to manage the master data, how easy is it to exchange that master data and that serialization information with your partners, with the governmental systems that are in place around the world. So these hurdles need to become simpler. A lot of the systems we see in the real world are still based on the ISA 95 architecture, where you have a supplier for the level 1, so the components, a supplier for the level 2, which is the line management, level 3, the site management, and level 4, which then does the communication to partners, optionally with the level 5. This is old school in one way, because these different levels provide a lot of options for frictions. So on the different levels, you then have the tendency to have different suppliers that have made that level their specialty. And when they have to interface to the other layers, so let's say you have a level 3 system provider, they have to communicate upwards and downwards, which provides a lot of sources for friction. And I think in the future, that becomes one of the main challenges, to get rid of that friction, because it creates overhead, not only in terms of raw cost, because you have more different suppliers, also in terms of ease of use, because not everything looks the same, ease of master data management, because you don't need to input that master data on 4 different systems in 4 slightly different manner, and making sure that these interfaces fit together and feed into each other in the right fashion. I really believe that the future lies in having a unified standard in between the layers, where it's no longer necessary to take that friction into account. And also in terms of responsibility, the customers, especially small to mid-sized companies, they don't have the resources or the know-how, manpower at the end of the day, to take care of each of these individual suppliers separately. They want to have one person, if they have an issue at the line, or they have an issue on their level 3 or level 4 system, they want to call one person that they know is responsible to make it work again, disregarding of whether that's a level 3 or a level 2. They don't really care, just make it work. The push for standardization in the past had tapered off. There was an initiative, a number of suppliers got on board. In a lot of the cases, the issue they're facing is that they have, again, a lot of legacy systems, and especially in pharma, where changes come relatively slowly, because everything has to be validated and made sure that it works exactly to specification. Those processes take a very long time. So if you want to introduce a new way of working, a new standard, then it will take a long time to establish because of that. The systems that are in place for a lot of the pharmaceutical industries, they're set in stone. Or maybe not in stone, but in a very hard material, simply because it's so much work and so much effort to get changes through those systems because you again need to make sure that they are up to standard, that they provide the quality that you needed in the pharmaceutical context. That in often case it's not worth taking the risk of a change, or rather there must be a very compelling reason to do that. So we see pushes in any number of given industries, from tobacco to luxury brands who's been doing it for a long time, but also arriving more and more at more mundane things. So there is areas in the world where milk products are being serialized, for example. So there really is a push towards serialization because it provides the benefit of having, or being the building block, the ground building block of counterfeit protection. As much as that is going on, this opens up markets for us, it opens up new industries for us. Having those industries realizing the benefits of serialization. It's anti-counterfeit possibilities, it's track and trace in terms of along the supply chain, what happens to that product along the supply chain. There is really a large number of benefits to serialization, and as more and more industries start to work with serialization, that then becomes a chance for us to expand our activities into other industries.
Our goal is to further grow, especially in the field of end packaging. We see that there is still some potential to have, let's say, a new generation of end packaging devices, case packing. We also believe that we have some very good offerings in this area. We also see coming challenges in the international field, where we just are unsure how it will develop over time. One thing we definitely want to further expand is our presence around the globe, with building new dependencies in all different time zones. That's important for us, and that's a big goal of the future we want to reach. Well, I enjoy the working with technology every day. So technology is able to solve challenges which you initially didn't think it's possible to do. I think a big motivation for us and the team is always try to find a solution to make things happen, be it at the low cost or be at something which never was solved before. Solving these challenges day in, day out is very satisfying, as long as you are able to find the solutions. But at the same time, it also can be here and there frustrating. But I'm happy to say that we are more often satisfied instead of dissatisfied.